Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Alex here, and I'm in Romania right now. Yes, you heard that right, probably you see my room. We are sitting in my room in Romania, back from my parents' house. And in today's video we're gonna talk about a subject. Why do a lot of cabin crew, they resign after a few years of flying only? Why they do not fly for a longer period of time, like 10 years, 15 years, 25? Why do so many Middle Eastern crew resign after just a bit of time? Alright, so we have this article right here. Why do a lot of Fly Emirates crew quit within 3 years of joining the airline? What's up with this resignation? Well, first of all, before we go through the article, I just want to say a few reasons, my own personal reasons. Why would the cabin crew resign after just a bit of time? Will be many of the crew in our airlines in the Middle East, they just want to come over, fly for a bit, and then see the world, travel as much as possible, and then resign. This is the basic premise. This is what many people do. They want to join those Middle Eastern carriers, see the world, and then just resign, basically. Just resign because they accomplished their dream and probably they have many things going back home in their home countries, so they just use this as an opportunity to explore the world. Now, of course, there's other reason many people would resign. Probably one of them is the fatigue and tiredness. The job gets you tired quite quickly. And another one may be something like being alone, you know, feeling alone, being single, all these things. Many people want to create a family, you know, so that can hit, especially when you reach a certain age. Now let's read the article, let's see what this answer is all about. People who have never been a crew member with Emirates will probably never understand why people resign from Emirates. They think, how can someone resign from one of the best airlines in the world? To many, being an Emirates cabin crew is a dream, and that's why many would not really understand why people would resign. I think no one would really understand until they themselves would walk in their shoes. Alright, so let's see, we have here the reasons. So the crew that resigns from Emirates have one of those reasons or a mix of all. First of all, fatigue. The rosters the Emirates crew has are a lot. I mean, that's true, that depends. Sometimes you have a busy roster, sometimes the roster is quite light and you can have, you know, just a few flights in the roster and it's a chill month. And at the end of the month you will complain, hey, how come I have such a small salary? Because I didn't fly a lot. So it really depends. But yeah, I definitely agree with this one. Fatigue is a big reason, you know, the tiredness just accumulates. So that will be the first reason. The second reason, as we see right here in the article, is homesickness. Living in a country that is not their home country. You have family members, you have friends, relatives, they're all in the country you originally come from, and nobody's here in Dubai with you. And of course you will feel alone, you will feel homesick. You're in a country and a place that you're not used to. You start missing your home, people, and things that you were used to. Absolutely, completely agree with this. The third reason, loneliness. And this is what I've been talking about, ladies and gents. Loneliness, it's a really big one. Even if the crew is surrounded by so many folks, they often feel lonely. The Emirates crew share their own accommodation with their either one or two flatmates. Still, they feel lonely. Of course, they make new friends from their batch or around them, but still, the feeling of being lonely can be too much sometimes. When you start to feel lonely, then the homesickness kicks in. This is when you keep thinking about home, feeling depressed and sad. Okay, this is a different topic, you know, feeling depressed and all of that stuff. This can happen in many airlines, especially in the Middle East, you know, being far from home, thinking that, okay, what's my reason to be here? Why am I here? Is there all it is to this life, just money and earning good and traveling the world? It sounds quite bad, but you know, it just hits you at a certain point of time. You just start feeling a bit lonely, and you know, you're missing your parents, your friends, and you basically can fall into this deep sadness kind of thing. It didn't happen to me. I'm fine, you know, I'm really okay with this whole situation. I've been a crew for a long time, and at this point I'm okay with just Skyping my friends, you know, I mean, talking video calls with my family and so on and so forth. But yeah, many people, they cannot really do that much. They do feel lonely. All right, let's see here. Rules. When you sign your Emirates cabin crew contract, you also sign up to follow a 10,000 rules. Okay, that's a bit too many. That's not really the case. Although I do agree there's quite a few rules. For example, the female crew is not allowed to have any male friends sleep over at their house. I mean, that's true. I mean, you can make a long visitor request if you want to. Like, there's ways to go around that. It's not a big deal. And you can visit each other all the time, just not spend the night. Like 5 hours on the night, you cannot really spend them, you know, from 1 to 6 a.m. or something like that. It's the same in Etihad or Qatar. Obviously, you have this period of time you cannot really stay over. If the crew wishes to have family over to their accommodation, they have to sign forms and have them approved. For us, it's such a simple process. Probably it's a bit more complicated in Emirates than Etihad, but for us, it's quite a simple process in Etihad. Just I make a request and the request is granted in like 1 day and a half. So it's not a big deal, to be honest. And your family can stay over for 1 month and then they need a 1 month break and then they can stay over for the following month. So I would say it's pretty good. The crew is not allocated to have alcohol in their houses without a liquor license. That's completely false. I can have alcohol, you know, it's 2023 already. I mean, it's fine. Cabin crew can consume alcohol, can smoke, whatever. Just be okay with your flatmate and be on the same level as your flatmate, let's say. Have the same particular things that you both enjoy and you shall be fine. Having those rules makes the crew feel very controlled by the company. Okay, I see. The crew feels like kids having a big brother watching them all the time. Yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from here. But definitely those things are eased up nowadays in comparison to what was 10 years ago. So I would say things are getting better from the rules standpoint. Before even Etihad, you know, taking selfies in the crew uniform and all of that stuff was a bit dodgy. You weren't really allowed to post much on social media, or you had to be really careful about what you post in social media. But nowadays, we're even encouraged by the company to post on social media and to have nice posts, basically, as long as you follow, you know, standards. Don't be a jerk on social media, you shall be fine. But yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you here is that rules are a bit easier nowadays for cabin crew than it used to be back in the day. Okay, working environment. Emirates cabin crew have no unions. Well, there's no unions in the Middle East for crew, that's true. But there's a certain standards that are followed by the company in relationship to the crew. So I have no idea. I don't know many things about unions, and I feel like if I express myself now, I'll say stupid things. So I don't want to talk about that too much. But yeah, a lot of backstabbing happening among the crew. Not in recent years as much as you would think. A lot of crew reporting each other, a lot of crew getting fired for silly reasons. Yeah, that may be true. That may be true. If you get into fights amongst crew and stuff like that, and you both end up in the office, and you can get in a pretty bad position, you know, for yourself. So I would say be calculated at all times. If you're a cabin crew, be with the head on the shoulders, and use your rationality in all circumstances. The crew feels they don't have any support from the managers. Okay. The crew really has no voice. The airline will back up the passengers, but not the crew. That may be the case at times. The service on board is very tough and strict. There are service guidelines for that, so you know exactly how and what to prepare for the passengers. The passengers are very demanding on certain flights. Absolutely agree. The passengers are indeed demanding on certain flights, and obviously that can lead to fatigue by the cabin crew. Feels like they're modern day slaves on board. Yeah, if it's a really hard flight, it's a really tough flight, and you're working non-stop for the whole 8 hours or whatever, it can feel really tiresome. So, it's not easy. Whoever asked me about the job and say, oh, cabin crew, it's an easy job to be a flight attendant, just flying to all those beautiful destinations and layovers and having fun in those layovers and enjoying your life and earning a good paycheck. Yes, but it comes with a caveat. It comes with a responsibility, and many of those flights are hard. It's a hard job. It's a hard work. So yeah, it's part of it. You do work on board. If you are transitioning, for example, from a European airline to an airline in the Middle East, you can find it that it's quite tough, let's say, work-wise. Alright, roommates. The crew shared the accommodation with one or two other crew. Their crew is not allowed to change accommodation until they have completed their probation period. That is true for all 3 airlines, as far as I know. The probation period is 6 months. Then after they have completed their probation, they can request to change accommodation. So if you have fights with your roommates, with your flatmate, the person living in your flat, then you have to manage it until 6 months. You have nothing else to do. In Etihad, you can request earlier than 6 months based upon the fact that you don't get along, and that's fine. You can actually change your accommodation. So it really depends from airline to airline. Having bad flatmates affects the crew a lot. Now, the way they put this in the article, having bad roommates, like roommates is a word for being in the same room. We don't have roommates in those airlines, we have flatmates. That means they live in the premises of the same accommodation, but not in the same room. Every cabin crew has a room and their own bathroom. So I just want to make this clear for everybody there to know who are watching this video. No, you do not live in the same room as your flatmate. You just live in the same apartment, which is a big one, generally speaking. So yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Another reason would be fantasy. Crew has a picture of what their lives would be like before they join. They think this is a dream life and a dream job. They think the job is easy and breezy. Exactly what we're talking about. Exactly what we're talking about. I didn't read this article before, so I'm just letting you know. They paint the picture in their minds and think this is a walk in a rosy garden. But when they arrive in Dubai, they realize that perhaps this was not what they had in mind. Perhaps the job is too demanding, the hours are too much, they can't handle the stress and press. The rules are too much, they simply aren't enjoying the job anymore. So they do the job for 1 to 3 years and quit. Yeah, I understand, I completely understand here. It is indeed painted as a very glamorous and beautiful job and amazing, everything is great, and maybe even I paint this kind of thing in my YouTube videos. Maybe I talk about, how I am enjoying my life in Abu Dhabi a lot and I'm enjoying the job and it's all nice and dandy. But there is work to do and the job itself is quite demanding and people have to understand this before they apply to work on this job. Having said this, yes, you work on board, but then you enjoy your days off, you have plenty of them many times, and still I do enjoy my life in Abu Dhabi, so I just have to tell you that, because it's true, in spite of the craziness of the job itself. Alright. Other goals. Now this is a big one. This is a really big one and this one is very true. We have crew who resign because they feel this isn't for them anymore. They have different goals and plans than this. Their plan in the beginning was to do this for a few years and then go back home and continue with other stuff. Absolutely. We have a crew who take this job because they wanted to try it for 1 year and see how it is. They never intended to stay in the company for long. Some even do this for a fun thing, a short period of time and then they resign. Absolutely true. And I think I can put myself in this bracket, like if I were to resign from this job, I would definitely be for probably this reason. Mostly it's because I have other plans or other goals. There is the next step in my life. Maybe building a family, which is very important, and it's quite hard to build a family whilst flying for Emirates, for Qatar, for Etihad, flying, traveling so much and having a family is quite tough, and probably I would prefer to do this while I'm a bit more settled and not living out of a suitcase. I think many people empathize with that. These were some of the main reasons why Emirates crew resign within such a short period of time. Alright, so let's recap, just a bit of a recap. So fatigue, homesickness, loneliness, rules, working environment, roommates. Now, I will end the video here. I hope you enjoyed listening to my rant. More videos coming. I'm obviously in Romania. It's a bit gloomy right now outside. I wanted to film some videos outside of my house. Right now it's raining, so, what to do is spring. It's a changing weather. We had sunshine, now it's raining. So anyways, I do enjoy my vacation. I'm sleeping all the nights. I'm not going out at all. I'm a good boy, ladies and gents, a good boy. please leave a comment down below, express your opinion about this subject matter. And yeah, until next time, more videos coming, as always. I mean, every now and then, obviously, when we can. Bye bye, ladies and gents. See you later. Cheers.